Okay, this is actually important to talk about. Now, is this going to be a landmark moment in history, or is this just going to be an outlier, just a faint glimmer of hope? Johnny Depp has won his defamation case against Amber Heard, and I won't go into the details too much. We all know how the media lied, pumped out disinformation, gaslit us, and went after Johnny Depp and destroyed his reputation with lies. Johnny Depp was a victim of domestic violence. Amber Heard was her abuser, and she even said so herself. No one will believe you because I'm female. And she bragged about being violent to him. Okay? And Amber Heard has a history of domestic violence. She's beaten other people, including her ex-girlfriend. Yeah? By the way, on a proportionate level, right, on a per capita level, lesbians commit the most domestic violence. They're the most abusive and violent in relationships. Women commit most of the interpersonal violence, right? Okay, that's a fact. And the feminist run media are suppressing this, and they'll always frame the female abuser as the victim and the male victim as the abuser, as the perpetrator. And it does this all the time. There's countless cases of the feminist media warping the truth, right? Like in the Cyprus rape case. The Cyprus rape case, I can't name this woman legally because I'm in the UK, but there was a female sex offender on holiday in Cyprus. She was sleeping with underage boys, and she got angry that some of them rejected her and turned her down for sex. She was doing gangbangs with them and everything. And because she was angry at getting rejected, she falsely accused them. And the feminist media completely misrepresented the case, right? In a lot of ways, this case is far more serious than the Johnny Depp case. And there's countless examples of the feminist media lying, just pumping out disinformation. So the next time a man gets abused and he's prominent enough to be a celebrity, he's going to be defamed and abused by the media again. This is not a mistake. The feminist media didn't make a mistake, right? It's not like, oh, they were lazy, didn't bother to do the research and made a mistake and took Amber Heard at her word, right? They knew the evidence that showed Johnny Depp wasn't the abuser and he was the abused, and they just ignored it. It's disinformation. It's disinformation with a political agenda, a feminist agenda. They want to control the narrative and keep men as an underclass, right? They want women to have the right to commit violence against men and men not to be able to defend themselves legally, right? They want male victims of domestic violence to be arrested as the perpetrators. That's the goal of feminism, right? It's a female supremacy, a female social dominance movement. Now, the root problem of this, the root of Johnny Depp's problems, and the root of problems of all abused men at the hands of women, right, is still there. The feminist run media, because the feminist media is doubling down, right? There's countless media like this, and they're trying to portray this as a travesty of justice for female victims of domestic violence. Amber Heard, she's got a very nice symmetrical face, by the way. Johnny Depp, you should have fought with your head, not with your small head. You know, your big head. So, yeah. So, trial by TikTok. This article implies that Amber Heard got misjustice because he was tried by TikTok. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's just look at this, right? This looks like an innocent article. It looks like it's trying to be neutral. Wholesale rejection of Amber Heard's abuse claims. As he made his final pitch to the jury, Amber Heard's lawyer, Benjamin Rottingborn, boiled her case down into simple terms. Her op-ed at issue merely suggested she'd been a victim of domestic abuse. She made no other specific allegations. If you think they're both abusive to each other, then Amber wins, he said. If Amber was abused even one time, then she wins. Going by this logic, the jury must not have believed a single instance of abuse detailed on the stand by Heard. And there were many. She alleged numerous instances of emotional, physical, verbal, and sexual assault. None of these seem to have swayed the jury, who found she defamed her ex-husband by casting herself as a public representing domestic abuse. Okay. So the reason why this is dishonest is it's leaving out context. This is a very clever way to lie without actually lying directly. There's evidence of Amber Heard's abuse, right? She's admitted to abusing Johnny Depp, okay? This article should mention the evidence, okay? But it doesn't. So it's implying that, oh, she claims to be a victim and the jury's just not believing her. But it gets worse. Evidence matters, but the jury are fans too. If you were to take a look at the social media over the past month, you'll see that too many Heard lost in a court of public opinion weeks ago. No, she lost because the evidence was against her, right? What's interesting about public opinion in this case is that we can measure it, said journalist and author Cooper Lawrence, who has written extensively on celebrity culture. Hashtag Justice for Johnny Depp has more than 18 billion hits on TikTok. Amber Heard is only a tiny percentage of that. That's irrelevant. You see, they're trying to fixate on irrelevant things to deflect. Oh, Johnny Depp's a high-status celebrity. He's more popular than Amber Heard. Amber Heard can't get justice. Each day of the trial, Depp would pass hundreds of screaming fans on the short walk from his car to court. Juries have been instructed to stay offline and ignore all coverage of the case, but the noise around the case would have been hard to ignore. I think it'll be really interesting to see how the jury responds to the cult of celebrity that's in front of them, Lawrence said before the verdict. Evidence matters, but the juries are fans too. You know what that's implying. Okay. Now, this is where the nonsense really starts. Online abuse against Heard is horrific. There's no online abuse against Heard who's horrific. There's no online abuse against Heard. Bullshit. Okay. They don't call a male abuser who's been proven to be an abuser getting flack, getting insults online, and a victim of abuse. It's absolutely ridiculous, right? Any pushback that females receive is framed as abuse by female supremacists. It's disgusting. On paper, the Depp Heard case was a defamation trial, but in reality, the 6 weeks of testimony centered largely on graphic and upsetting allegations of emotional, verbal, and physical abuse. It's trying to, it's not giving the context again. Johnny Depp's allegations are proven. There's evidence. There's zero evidence of Amber Heard's allegations. Okay? Period. Depp told jurors his ex-wife had demeaned and bullied him, and he had a need for violence. He didn't just demeaned and bullied him. This is weasel words, right? She assaulted him. And she admitted to assaulted him, right? Verbally, it's recorded. She admitted to assaulting him, and she cut off his fucking finger, a part of his finger. Heard said she had suffered from numerous physical assaults from Depp, including disturbing allegations of sexual assault. But it was Heard accusations that were mocked online, where she was accused of fabricating testimony and fake tears. You see, this is removing the context again. More weasel words. She was getting mocked because she admitted to abusing Johnny Depp, and it's recorded her admitting it, right? The response to allegations have alarmed domestic abuse advocates, feminists, basically. That's weasel words. The online abuse against Heard is horrific. Fuck off. You're just lying. Said sociologist, that's feminist, Nicole Bedra, who specialises in sexual violence. That's a feminist. Victims watching at home are harmed too, she said. I think a lot of them will be more nervous about coming forward now. This is complete horseshit. Now, who's Nicole Bedra? She's a feminist here. The verdict is not a surprise. It doesn't signal the death of Me Too. She's right about that. More work to be done to kill off Me Too. It's a reminder why we need Me Too in the first place. Because feminists need Me Too so they can marginalise men even more. For feminists, this should be a radicalising moment inspiring us to push for structural change to the system stacked against us. So, because Johnny Depp's got justice against all the odds in a system that's stacked against men, she's calling for more systematic institutional bias against men and more female supremacy. In the first phase of the Me Too movement, we raised awareness about gender-based violence and empathy for survivors. The term gender-based violence is a dog whistle. It's equivalent to a white nationalist dog whistle. The term's complete horseshit. The term it's a weasel term. It means violence against women. That's all it means. In the second phase, let's change the very fibre of a society to ensure for the first time ever that women can live a life without violence. So that's complete horseshit. Women suffer less violence than men. Can you imagine if white nationalists tweeted, for the first time ever, let's ensure that white men do not suffer any violence against black people ever. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, and it's female supremacist. Okay? So the BBC is quoting her, a blatant radical feminist, right? It's quoting her and treating her like an objective, impartial academic, right? So the root cause of all this is not been tackled. The feminist media is doubling down on the lies, and they'll carry on doubling down on the lies because they're in gatekeeper positions of power, and they need to be removed. And until they're removed, things are only going to get worse. So for this to be a landmark moment in history, we've got to awaken and fight back against feminism completely. Period. We've got to reject it 100%, and we actually got to ban it from mainstream society. Over and out.